Lauer. More women coming forward, accusing the fired NBC anchor of sexual misconduct. One alleging he summoned her to his office, locked the door with a button under his desk, then assaulted her. Overnight, Lauer missing from the famous tree lighting ceremony. And new concerns this morning were complaints about his behavior ignored by executives.
The GOP tax plan clears a big hurdle overnight as President Trump pushes it over the finish line, falsely claiming he wouldn't benefit.
This is going to cost me a fortune, this thing, believe me.
The president also faces new fallout over anti-Muslim videos he retweeted, getting into a pitched battle with the British Prime Minister.
On the run, new images of that 17-year-old girl and the high school soccer coach she vanished with heading north. Surveillance footage showing them hundreds of miles away at a gas station and a pawn shop as her parents beg her to come home.
Have a holly jolly Christmas.
In Christmas-like fight, neighbors battling over this winter wonderland. 350,000 lights and visitors from all over clogging up the streets. The petition to stop it and the police chief stepping in.
It's the best time.
Live in Times Square, this is GMA with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Michael Strahan.
And good morning, America. We hope you are well this Thursday morning. Boy, we have a lot of news to get to this morning. President Trump seems to be on the verge of a victory in the Senate on taxes. That's going to affect everyone. We'll have more on that ahead.
And something else is going to affect a lot of people, air travel. There are new concerns about holiday travel today, and an American Airlines glitch that could affect thousands of flights. We have that coming up as well.
Oh boy, and we're going to start though with those new accusations against Matt Lauer. NBC fired the Today Show host after a woman came forward Monday evening with allegations. Now more are telling their stories. ABC's Lindsay Davis is here with new reporting. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, Robin. Some of the details that have emerged are simply too graphic for morning television. There are accusations of lewd texts and comments of Lauer exposing himself. And one woman alleges to the New York Times that a sexual encounter in his office culminated with her passing out and Lauer having his assistant take her to a nurse.
Matt Lauer's fall from grace casting a dark cloud over what was supposed to be a bright night at NBC's famed Christmas tree lighting. The former anchor scrubbed from the show.
The atmosphere is electric.
The star, with a reported $25 million a year salary, now fired.
And good morning. Welcome to Today on a Friday morning. I'm Matt Lauer.
Following a female staffer's allegations of sexual misconduct during and after the 2014 Olympics in Sochi. Late Wednesday, two more NBC employees came forward. One telling the New York Times Lauer summoned her to his office in 2001 during a workday, locked the door, and sexually assaulted her. The alleged victim says she didn't report it because she felt ashamed and didn't want to lose her job.
She says that he then asked her to unbutton her blouse, which she did. She says he then came around from his desk, pulled down her pants, and had sex with her. She says she does bear some of the responsibility for what happened, but she felt like he was kind of using his power over her.
According to the New York Times, after the sexual assault, she passed out in Lauer's office. He then asked his assistant to bring her to the nurse. The new allegations come after another scathing expose Wednesday. Variety details the claims of several current and former anonymous NBC staffers, one of whom told reporters Lauer gave her a sex toy as a present, accompanied by a note detailing how he wanted to use it on her. Another saying he exposed himself to her in his office, then reprimanded her when she didn't engage. Two more tell the magazine Lauer had a button under his desk that would automatically lock his office door. Variety adding several women complained to executives at the network about Lauer's behavior, which they say fell on deaf ears.
Matt Lauer and Savannah Guthrie.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.
Lauer's illustrious career at NBC has included plum assignments like hosting the Thanksgiving Day Parade and interviews with everyone from presidents to stars like Tom Cruise.
You're glib. You don't even know what Ritalin is.
Just 2 months ago, he grilled former Fox News star Bill O'Reilly about sexual allegations that led to his own termination from Fox News.
You were probably the last guy in the world that they wanted to fire because you were the guy that the ratings and the revenues were built on. You carried that network on your shoulders for a lot of years. So doesn't it seem safe to assume that the people at Fox News were given a piece of information or given some evidence that simply made it impossible for you to stay on at Fox News.
But this morning, other clips are resurfacing too, like this sexually driven sketch.
Drink it in, ladies.
Again, Matt, really? It's the third time this week.
Former co-host Katie Couric said this about Lauer in a game show lightning round in 2012.
What is Matt's most annoying habit?
He pinches me on the
Wow!
TMZ released this video Wednesday, apparently showing Lauer commenting on a coworker's appearance on set.
Hey, sweater. Keep bending over like that. It's a nice view.
And this morning, the Today Show seeming to sever all ties with Lauer. His photo already scrubbed from their social media accounts.
Despite claims to the contrary, NBC News has released a statement saying we can say unequivocally that prior to Monday night, current NBC News management was never made aware of any complaints about Matt Lauer's conduct. George.
Okay, Lindsay, thanks. And we just got a statement from Matt Lauer. I want to read that to you right now. It's just come in on the email. He says, "There are no words to express my sorrow and regret for the pain I have caused others by words and actions. To the people I have hurt, I am truly sorry. As I am writing this, I realize the depth of the damage and disappointment I have left behind at home and at NBC. Some of what is being said about me is untrue or mischaracterized, but there's enough truth in these stories to make me feel embarrassed and ashamed." There's more after that, but that's the nub of the statement from Matt Lauer right now. And we are joined also by the reporters who broke the story for Variety magazine, New York Bureau Chief Ramin Sotoudeh and Elizabeth Wagmeister, who also works for Page 6 TV. And Elizabeth, let me begin with you right now. You just heard Matt Lauer say that some of the stories have been mischaracterized. You were working on this for weeks before NBC made their move. How many women did you talk to? What did they say?
We spoke to 3 women and multiple sources. We did dozens of interviews. We investigated this for 2 months, and we were told some very shocking and disturbing stories, which are a stark contrast to the Matt Lauer that everybody has known for over 20 years. We were told that he gave a sex tape to one of his former employees, along with a graphic note about what he wanted to do with it. We were told that he called a woman into his office and dropped his pants, exposed himself, and when she didn't want to do anything with him, he reprimanded her. These women were scared because Matt Lauer had so much power. It's what we're hearing with all these stories, the unfair power dynamic.
And this appeared to be an open secret at NBC as well from your reporting. Ramin, I want to bring this to you because we've seen these statements from the NBC brass. Chairman Andy Lack said on Monday night, first time in 20 years, he's heard a complaint. They doubled down overnight, saying unequivocally there were no complaints before Monday night. That's at odds with your reporting.
It is at odds with our reporting. We had talked to dozens of former and current staffers who say that there was general knowledge within all ranks of NBC, between staffers, high-ranking executives, other anchors that were on air with Matt, knowing, detailing, speaking about what Matt was doing, pursuing women.
So is this semantics here, that there were no formal complaints with the HR department?
It seems like they're referencing paperwork as opposed to actual knowledge, and I think that's where this story is headed. The question of who knew what when, and many of the sources we talked to find it very hard to believe that they can issue this blanket statement saying that nobody knew.
And Elizabeth, this appears to have been allowed to continue because of the enormous power Matt yielded, both on camera and behind the scenes.
Absolutely. I mean, Matt Lauer, he made $25 million per year. He was there for over 20 years. He was the face of the Today Show. They didn't want to let anything ruin that.
And it appears that from what you were reporting as well, that he seemed to focus on people at work, especially in recent years.
This is an important aspect of the story. The harassment occurred in the office. It occurred in his office. It occurred while he was taking work trips. It occurred in hotel rooms. This was behavior that he didn't do on his own or away from NBC. This was done within the halls of the newsroom.
And we were told that, Matt, he was very paranoid about being caught. He's a big star, so he knew that he could be caught by tabloid reporters. That's why he kept it within his stable, and also he knew he had power there, so he was pretty assured that these women would not complain about him because he was the big man there.
You've talked to dozens of people. Expect more women to come forward?
We've been in communication with more victims, and we're in the process of vetting their stories.
Thanks for coming on this morning. Robin?
George, as you know, sexual misconduct allegations also rocking politics. Alabama Senate candidate Roy Moore back on the campaign trail last night as one of his accusers issues an open letter. Our chief national correspondent, Tom Yamas, was at Moore's event and joins us this morning from Mobile, Alabama. Good morning, Tom.
Robin, good morning to you. With those accusations looming, the Roy Moore campaign is now launching what they call a church store to church store strategy. They're going to try to have the candidate in churches as much as possible through Election Day. A church is where he was at last night. He received a standing ovation when he started to speak, but also was met with some resistance.
These are times that try the souls of men.
Overnight, Roy Moore speaking at a Baptist church just outside of Mobile. The Republican Senate candidate accused of molesting teenage girls, telling supporters Christian culture is under attack by the Washington establishment.
They're liberals. They don't want conservative values. They're the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender who want to change our culture.
But in the middle of his speech,
The entire town, all the girls alive.
hecklers interrupting Moore. Moore still dogged by allegations he dated high school girls when he was in his 30s, 2 of them accusing Moore of sexual assault. Moore has denied all accusations of sexual misconduct, but admitted last night he has had second thoughts about running for Senate.
If I would have known the lies, the deceits, the things I would face in this campaign, I would not have gotten into it probably. But when you get into something that God means you to get into, you have no choice but to live these things out in your life.
One of those accusers, Lee Korfman, who says Moore molested her when she was 14, recently sent him a letter asking him to stop calling her a liar. Korfman writing, "What you did to me when I was 14 years old should be revolting to every person of good morals. But now you are attacking my honesty and integrity. Where does your immorality end?"
Now, 8 women have come forward to say that Moore either sexually harassed or assaulted them when they were teenagers. Moore has denied those accusations, but many of the supporters I spoke to last night do not believe the women. One of Moore's allies in church saying last night he'll take Roy Moore's 40 years of public service over those 2 weeks of accusations. Robin?
And one of those supporters, Steve Bannon, he's returning to Alabama next week.
Yeah, this is a very big deal down here. Steve Bannon helped Roy Moore win in the primary weeks ago, and he's going to come back next week. Roy Moore really needs those Trump supporters to show up on Election Day. He needs them for victory. Robin?
Tom, thank you.
Okay, Robin, thanks. For move on to President Trump now. He is facing new fallout over those anti-Muslim videos he retweeted from an extremist group in England. The British Prime Minister condemned the move. The president attacked back, and our chief White House correspondent John Carl here with the details. Good morning, John.
Good morning, George. The videos and the group that tweeted them have been condemned as hateful and insightful to violence, but the White House insists the president was simply raising the issue of national security.
The 3 videos the president retweeted were originally posted by a tiny anti-Islam ultra-nationalist party called Britain First, a group known for hate-filled incitement. They purport to show Muslims engaged in violent acts. The office of British Prime Minister Theresa May condemned the president for his tweets, saying Britain First seeks to divide communities through their use of hateful narratives which peddle lies and stoke tensions. It is wrong for the president to have done this. The president responded to May last night, saying, "Don't focus on me, focus on the destructive radical Islamic terrorism that is taking place within the United Kingdom. We are doing just fine." And White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders also responded to the president's tweets.
It's important to talk about national security and national security threats.
One of the videos claims to show a Muslim migrant in the Netherlands beating a Dutch boy. But tonight, the Embassy of the Netherlands says that's not true. They say the attacker was actually Dutch, tweeting, "Facts do matter." Still, the White House says it doesn't matter if the videos the president tweets are accurate.
Look, again, whether it's a real video, the threat is real, and that is what the president is talking about.
And this morning, there's an extraordinary statement from the mayor of London on all of this, saying, in part, George, President Trump yesterday used Twitter to promote a vile extremist group that exists solely to sow division and hatred in our country. Many Brits who love America and Americans will see this as a betrayal of the special relationship between our 2 countries. And, George, the mayor of London is calling on the Prime Minister of Great Britain to revoke her invitation to Donald Trump to visit.
So we're seeing the fallout right there. And yesterday was an especially active day for the president on Twitter. Increasingly outlandish tweets, even dipping into conspiracy theories.
Oh, he was all over the map. There was this, there were conspiracy theories. He was calling for a boycott of CNN. All, George, at a time when the White House is trying to focus on tax reform.
They also, though, have Robert Mueller out there, and we just learned that Jared Kushner has been called in.
Yes, this was an interview with the special counsel and Jared Kushner that happened earlier this month. We're told it's primarily about Michael Flynn and that Trump Tower meeting where they were meeting with Russians about dirt on Hillary Clinton.
May not be his last interview. John Carl, thanks very much.
And John alluded to tax reform, and President Trump also doubling down on his effort to pass tax reform by Christmas. The measure cleared an important hurdle in a Senate vote last night. Let's go to our senior congressional correspondent, Mary Bruce. She's there on Capitol Hill for us. Good morning, Mary.
Robin, good morning. Well, the Senate is inching closer to passing tax reform, voting yesterday to begin debate, but this isn't a done deal yet. Republicans are now scrambling to negotiate changes, hoping to get enough votes. Even complaining they don't know what version they're debating right now. Now, the president says wealthier Americans like him will be hurt under this bill. But according to analysts, that is simply not true. Wealthy Americans, those making more than $100,000 a year, would likely see big tax cuts, while most Americans earning less than $75,000 a year are projected to pay more by 2027. Now, Republicans can only afford to lose 2 votes, and by our latest count, more than half a dozen still have serious misgivings. Robin, the one thing they all seem to agree on, failure here is simply not an option.
That is something they do agree on. All right, Mary, thank you.
And also this morning, new developments in that serial killer case in Tampa. The 24-year-old suspect is due in court today, and ABC's Victor Okendo has new details about his past and what they discovered on his cell phone.
How Emmanuel Donaldson III was captured Tuesday after his co-worker at McDonald's told police he asked her to hold a bag containing a gun. Police say Donaldson told them he owns the gun, which was purchased a week before the first murder, but has not admitted to committing any of the shootings.
The gun is what we needed.
Police say Donaldson's gun was used in all 4 murders. They say data from his cell phone was matched to 3 of the crime scenes, and say when they searched his car, they found clothes that matched items that the suspect was wearing in these surveillance videos.
The motive is going to be possibly someplace in his computers, in his phone, in social media, or with friends or associates or co-workers.
Last January, Donaldson graduated from St. John's University in New York, where he played for the basketball team. His former teammates say he was competitive, but not violent. As for the Florida community that has been on edge for weeks, now breathing a sigh of relief.
Now, it's like a weight's been lifted off of our shoulders.
Donaldson's first court appearance is this morning. Overnight, the manager at the McDonald's, who handed the gun over to a police officer, released a statement saying that she is surprised and overwhelmed by everything that's happened. But right now, she is thinking about the victims and their families. Michael?
All right, thank you, Victor. And I'm going to go over to Ginger. And Ginger, wildfires in the Dakotas.
Yes, the flames here climbing to 12 feet high, Michael. You can see them behind me. This is southeast North Dakota, and it's because they had gusts to nearly 70 miles per hour. It's been very mild and extremely dry up there, and that's kind of been the case and will be for the next 5 to 7 days. We're in this pattern, unseasonably mild air, but don't say I didn't warn you. When you wake up a week from now and it slaps you in the face, because it is going to be downright frigid starting next midweek in the Great Lakes and here in the Northeast by the end of the week. Too soon? Okay, how about we look at the warm cities? Brought to you by Macy's.
She goes to your school, right?
Yeah, she does.
Merry Christmas.
Mom, none of these are my size.
Guess you'll have to go back and exchange them.
Saturday. See ya.
After yesterday's amazing warmth, we'll hover with highs today in the mid-50s, some 15 degrees cooler. There'll be clouds moving in. Your rain comes late after 8 o'clock. The wind out of the southeast at just 5 to 10 miles per hour. So here's that best chance of rain around 9, 10, 11 o'clock this evening, and we're not going to get very much at all. The weekend looking dry, the high Saturday 52, Sunday 55. Make sure you join us for Toys for Tots at National Harbor. Hope to see you then.
Coming up, new images and clues about where that teen who vanished with a high school soccer coach may be and what we're now learning about their relationship.
And that Christmas light fight, the home with 350,000 lights, has become a holiday hotspot. Neighbors aren't happy about it.
I ask as a mother, set my boy free.
$17 million to release him.